Right. My beloved Madridistas, welcome back to Madrid. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, I'm a reasonably articulate guy, but I'm going to struggle to describe what I saw yesterday in Vallecas. This was the poorest performance I have seen in a very long time. It is inexplicable to me that all of the positive energy that we had coming out of the Clásico, coming out of the match against Valencia, the intense pressing and the vertical play, in 6 days and 2 matches, we have managed to completely dissipate all of that. I have no idea how this happened. I have a laundry list. When we get to the takeaways, I have a laundry list of 13 things that we did wrong in this match, and we're going to go through them. I think Jude and Arda were probably the only players that tried to do anything constructive. The rest were absolutely disastrous, but this was an appalling performance in so many ways. I want to give you my thoughts. By the way, one more thing I'm going to mention. It is now, just so you guys are aware of this, in La Liga, it is now okay that if a ball is coming into the box and it's headed towards Kylian, you can bear hug him with both arms and tackle him to the ground. That's okay. And you can do it not once, you get to do it twice. It's fine. It's totally allowed. The VAR booth isn't going to check it. It's totally fine. I have to mention that. I'm sorry because, in a couple of videos before I said the refs look better this year. I take it all back. We're back to square one. But anyway, that does not detract from what I need to say, which is that this was a horrendous performance. And we're going to go through the match, players, and like I say, some key takeaways. Okay, not in a great mood, as you can imagine. Thanks for joining me. Let's get started. Madridistas, welcome back. Okay, let me give you my thoughts on this disaster yesterday in Vallecas, which was the opposite of what we wanted to see. In my preview, I said these are the things we want to see. None of it, absolutely none of it. Okay, let's start with the lineup. Now, Xavi is very unpredictable. I mean, honestly, trying to guess a Xavi lineup is like drawing straws. It's very, very difficult. This is the lineup that he came out with. By the way, Real Madrid showed it like this. It really bothers me when they do that. These were the players, but they actually played like this in terms of where they were positioned on the pitch. But the first thing that sort of hits you is, where's Trent? I mean, what you're telling me that Trent has been match fit for like 3 weeks now. He can't start a single match. I mean, is the guy that bad? Then why did we bring him? I mean, I don't understand why Trent does not play at all. And he's a young right back, did very well at Liverpool. We all know what he's good at. I don't understand it. Anyway, Trent starts on the bench again. Fede has to play right back again. Okay, the Militao thing I thought was okay. If you want to play Asensio and give Militao rest, I understand it. I don't have an issue with that. And also Enrique. I mean, does it not? I figured that he would play Brahim, and that's what he ended up doing. But like Enrique, you can't give him one game. You can't give him a Rayo match. Again, these are kind of inexplicable things that we're starting to see from Xavi that are getting very, very, very concerning. Now, in terms of the match itself, now the first 15 minutes, I already wanted to hang myself, and unfortunately, things didn't get better. It was just kind of the first 15 minutes gave you a little taste of what you were going to have to endure for 90 plus minutes, and it was awful. There was absolutely no high press. I don't know what happened, but there was no high press. The distance between the lines and the distance between the players was far too big. Now, a proper team plays with a defensive line and then the midfield and the forwards, but you want it to be compact. Those lines cannot be too far apart. If you're too dispersed, the players have no support short, you end up losing the ball. You need to play compact. Your lines have to be close together. Forget it. The players were so far apart from each other. The lines were so far apart from each other. The ball circulation was ridiculously slow. ridiculously predictable. I don't know how you expect to score a goal when you're so slow and you're telegraphing everything you're going to do. We were so imprecise in our passing, especially up front. The players up front could not string 3 passes together. You would see Jude make a wonderful move, get away from 2 defenders, moving the ball from the right foot to the left foot. He gets away, and then he's sprinting forward, and then Mbappe's going to make a run, and he puts a through ball through, and it is the most horrendous pass you've ever seen. Like, what happened? Do we not know how to pass anymore? We can't. The weight of our passes was awful yesterday, absolutely awful. No combination play at all up front. Everything was individual. Vini, he had in the first half, a few good runs on the left, but his decision making in the final third is like a fucking 6-year-old. He is so frustrating. He gets behind defenders only to stop and have to dribble past them again. Like, his decision making in the final third is really irritating the crap out of me. Like I say, Arda and Jude were the only players that I thought were playing with any kind of sensible criteria in terms of protecting the ball, moving the ball. I think Arda and Jude were the only sources of common sense in our play, but of course that's not going to be enough. Our diagonal through balls were horrible. Like I say, every time somebody made a run up front, the diagonal through balls to get behind the defense were awful. They were just absolutely awful. Look, in the 19th minute, Rayo had a very good chance. They could have scored. They could have put the first goal, on the scoreboard. Our first chance came in the 21st minute, okay? It took 21 minutes to create a chance against Rayo Vallecano. A very good save by the keeper, but it took 21 minutes to create one chance against Rayo Vallecano. We had another chance in the 23rd minute. Asensio had an open header. I have no idea how he didn't score that. It was a lot easier to score than to miss, but there you go. By the way, this will make you guys laugh. When I watch the away matches, I take notes, right? I kind of take notes. This is what I wrote in the 29th minute. Ball losses driving me fucking crazy. Well, that's a pretty accurate description of how I felt. We were losing the ball with a regularity that is completely unacceptable with players of this quality. A team with players of this quality cannot play this poorly. It is that simple. A team with players of this quality cannot play this poorly. Okay, my next note. Not one damn aerial ball ends up on our head. I don't know how this is possible, but every aerial ball goes to the opponents. Next note, Mbappe, far too isolated. Next note, no ball movement, no movement off the ball. So when a player has the ball and he lifts his head, and if everyone is just standing around, there's nowhere to pass the ball to. This is the ABCs of football. Guys, this is what you learn when you're 6 years old. You need movement off the ball into space in order to move forward and to create opportunities. No movement off the ball. Every pass was to the feet, and every pass was incredibly predictable. Vini had a good run on the right in the 42nd minute, but, surprise, surprise, he messes it up in the final third. We were playing with absolutely no intensity. We were walking on the pitch. We were just literally crawling. I have no idea what happened to these players, but everybody was walking. Our passing short was sloppy. Our passing long was sloppy. And like I say, our ball losses were absolutely unbelievable. Now, the second half starts. Now Militao comes in for Huijsen, and I have to say this too. It is not uncommon in football to take a player off if he has a yellow in certain circumstances. Okay, I mean, if you're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League or a semifinal, there's 20 minutes left. The other team is playing with incredible intensity. They've got incredibly dangerous players that take you on. You want to be careful. I understand it is a factor and might lead to a substitution because you can't take the risk. You substitute a starting center back. He's a starting center back, and you substitute him at halftime because he has a yellow card against Rayo Vallecano. Okay, now this is either just silly or that is how afraid we are of the refs in this league. That is how frightened we are of the refs in this league, that we know that one of our defenders with a yellow card is a liability, and the rest will find any excuse to pull out the second card. So I think that has been so ingrained in our psyche that it's leading us to make, kind of stupid decisions. Okay, there's another thing I want to mention. At the beginning of the second half, there was a ball. Arda Güler goes into the box. The ball kind of gets away from him. A Rayo defender steps in front of him and sort of takes over possession of the ball. Not a penalty, not a foul. Of course not. There was contact, of course, but it was, the Rayo defender won possession of the ball because he got in front of Arda Güler. I have to mention it because this is exactly the play when in the same stadium in Vallecas 5 weeks ago, Lamine Yamal, a defender of Rayo, gets in front of him, takes over possession of the ball because just because you touch the ball last does not mean that it's yours. Okay? If somebody gets in front of you and has the ball at their feet, they are now the player in control of the ball, and if there's contact, you're the one fouling. Well, that penalty was given to Lamine, of course, and it was not reviewed because the VAR was mysteriously down for that 15-minute period. It was really mysterious, but the ref gave it anyway, and Barça got away from Vallecas with a point that was gifted by the refs. But it pissed me off because the Arda play, you guys need to watch this again, was the same damn play. But of course, completely ignored. But anyway, we move on. There was also in the 47th minute a very good move by Jude at the front of the box. He got away from two defenders, and it was a very dangerous situation, and they brought him down. A clear yellow card, but it, of course, wasn't given. I just need to mention it because the shit pisses me off. In the 49th minute, Rayo had a very, very good chance. They could have scored there. Again, we were a little bit lucky to walk away with a clean sheet. I'm following my notes here. No high press. WTF happened to the high press? Where is the high press? I mean, where is it? When Rayo recovered the ball, we would just go back. Like, what? Since when? This is the opposite of what we all thought Xavi was going to bring to this team, which was an aggressive high press, suffocate them in their own half, recover the ball with a lot of bodies around, and you're going to create better chances. This is like common sense. Well, I don't know what happened to it. Like I say, Jude and Arda continued to be the only players that did anything reasonably competent. In the 63rd minute, we had a very good play by Kylian on the right, but again, very isolated. He had to try to dribble through 73 people because he was always alone. There was never any combination player support up front. In the 65th minute, Militao gave the ball away, and in the next possession, Rayo almost scored. Again, Militao. This was a ball-losing festival. I don't know who got the Oscar for most balls lost. Militao, Camavinga, I don't know. Any of them. I mean, even Valverde was trying to switch play and the ball was going into the stands. I don't know what the hell was going on yesterday. In the 66th minute, by the way, another thing I want to mention is how many corner kicks did Rayo get? And we're just lucky that those don't go in because we defend them very poorly. But anyway, another thing around the 60-plus minute when we were pushing forward, every Rayo Vallecano counter looked dangerous. I mean, every time Rayo countered, I was like, oh, shit. It looked, even if it was like 2 or 3 Rayo players and we had 4 or 5 players pushing, I still had the impression that, we are totally out of place. This is dangerous. And that is not something you should have to experience when you're playing Rayo Vallecano and you are Real Madrid. I mean, this was pathetic. In the 68th minute, Fede had a shot, a very good save from the keeper there. We had the first change in the 71st minute. Ceballos came in, and Brahim came out. Brahim completely non-existent. I think it was not a bad decision to play him, but he did absolutely nothing. Now at this point, Camavinga moved up and played on the right, which is what he did against Liverpool. What Camavinga is doing playing on the right, I have no idea. This guy's a lefty. He's a midfielder. He's not a winger. And if he's a winger, it ain't on the right. I can tell you that. So I have no idea why he did that. In the 72nd minute, was another play where Vini sort of takes people on, but again, everything is individual. It's Vini against 5 defenders. There's no combination play. There's no short support. It felt like every attack was 1v5, 1v4. This is not how you play football. In the 74th minute, another corner for Rayo. I was just making a note of how many corners these guys were getting. Another spectacular ball loss by Camavinga in the 75th minute that made me break a vase or two in the kitchen. Again, the plays too individual. Our attack was based entirely on sort of one player taking everybody on. This is what we were doing last year, and it was a disaster. And I'm afraid that what we saw last night was yesterday afternoon was the same type of thing. In the 78th minute, Camavinga comes out and Rodrigo comes in. That makes a lot more sense on the right wing, but of course he was as useless as everybody else. In the 82nd minute, Fede went out with what appeared to be a mild hamstring injury. You got to be careful. The hamstring is a very long muscle. So if you have a tiny tear and you keep playing and the tear turns into a big tear, you can go from being 3 weeks out to being 6 months out. So I think Fede, it was the right thing to do, get him off the pitch. The hamstring is a very dangerous muscle because it's very long, okay? I've torn my hamstring and it took forever to recover. Okay, so Trent finally comes in, this poor guy who doesn't know where he is, probably wondering why the hell he came. Okay, now in the 86th minute, I have to mention this. Now, we played like shit, didn't deserve 3 points. It's questionable whether we deserved one. But we can walk and chew gum at the same time, and two things can be true at the same time. We played like shit, yes. But there were 2 penalties on Kylian that are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what do you have to do for these people to call a pen? He was bear hugged. So basically, in the 86th minute, and then it happened again in the 94th minute, 2 bear hugs. Literally, the ball is coming towards Kylian. He's trying to play the ball, but he gets bear hugged and tackled to the ground before the ball arrives. The VAR didn't even look at it. It wasn't even worth checking. Anyway, well, welcome to Spain. We're still in Spain here. Okay, I do want to mention a play that Arda had in the 93rd minute, which was just a beautiful play getting through, 3 or 4 defenders on the right-hand side of the Rayo box, and he almost scored. I would have loved for him to score that goal because I think, he deserves a little credit because I think he was one of the few players that I think played well, and that would have been a testament to his effort, but it didn't go in, unfortunately. But anyway, look. This is kind of where we are now. You want takeaways? I mean, it's a laundry list, and some I've mentioned already. But let's go through everything that was wrong about this performance. 1, far too slow. Everybody was walking. Every player was walking. I cannot. They were like a stroll in the Retiro Park. I mean, everybody was walking. We were way too slow. Number 2, no intensity at all. No intensity in challenges. No intensity in the press. We were playing at half gas, and I have no idea why. Number 3, the lines are too far apart. We were not playing compact football. Our lines were too far apart, and that is not how you play proper football, because if your lines are too separated, you're going to lose the ball. Okay, number 4, the high press, totally non-existent. What happened to the high press? What happened to Xavi ball? What happened to what we saw at Leverkusen? What happened to what we saw at the beginning of the season? What happened to what we saw against Valencia? The high press was completely non-existent. When we lost the ball, all right, let's go back. There was no intent to steal the ball in the final third or in the Rayo half. Unbelievable. Number 5, the sloppiest passing I've seen in a very long time. Okay, the ball losses were just consistent and just so frustrating. We could not string 3 passes together. Okay, number 6, no connections up front at all. Every attack was individual. It was either Kylian trying to go through 73 people or Vini trying to dribble through 89 people. It was just, this is not how you play football. You need quick passing combination plays. You need triangles. You need support short and options long. This is not how you play football. It was absolutely, there was no connection with our players up front at all. Okay, number 7, no movement off the ball. So if you're Arda or Jude and you get the ball and you raise your head, everybody's just standing around. What are you going to do? And you could just see it, the look on their faces, like, what am I supposed to do now? No movement. The player with the ball ends up paralyzed because he doesn't know who to pass it to because everybody's standing. And if you're standing, you're already marked. You're going to be marked. So the only way to free yourself is to run into space, look for space, try to come closer to the ball or try to make a run away, but move. You have to move. None of that. Absolutely none of that. So the player with the ball had absolutely no options. Takeaway number 8. when we recovered the ball, when I noticed the players were too far apart. So if we managed to recover a ball in like a sort of challenge, the player that recovered the ball never had any support short. There just never seemed to be anybody around the person that recovered the ball. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but we would recover a ball, and the player that recovered the ball would be immediately under intense pressure because he had no natural outlet. There was nobody short to provide support and provide the outlet to start the play in the other direction. Okay, number 9. The changes are too little, too late. The changes he made yesterday. So what? No Enrique. Enrique in a game like yesterday, when everyone's walking and you need a shot in the arm because everybody's asleep, and your forwards are not able to do anything. Vini was disappeared in the second half. Kylian was so isolated. I don't know. He could have gone into the stands for 10 minutes. We wouldn't have noticed. Okay, you don't think you could maybe try Gonzalo? You don't think you can maybe try Enrique? Inject a little energy on the right? No. So we made late changes. The timing of the changes, I think, were too late, and they were not necessarily the right ones. Okay, takeaway number 10. Vini and Carreras don't like each other, apparently. They don't, they kind of had a couple of situations where they were looking at each other, kind of reprimanding each other. These two players need to play together. Carreras, when he goes up, needs to combine with Vini. This is what he needs to do. These players need to get along and understand each other. This is what you have to do in practice. Well, they seemed at odds. I mean, they seemed kind of pissed off at each other and were completely unable to link up. Okay, so that's takeaway number 10. Vini and Carreras, no love there. Okay, number 11, Vini and Kylian. I just don't, these guys, they try to find each other and they try to send the ball to each other, but it feels unnatural. It feels ineffective. Usually there's too much distance between the two anyway. So I think the connection, the Vini Mbappe connection, was shocking and absolutely absent yesterday. Okay, number 12, Kylian was totally isolated. Okay, Kylian is a wonderful player, but he was completely alone in that number 9 position, waiting for the ball, and he's not one of those strikers like, that you put in the, like these, Kanes or Haalands who they spend most of the time in the box waiting for the ball. And he's not that kind of player. He's very mobile. He moves around different parts of the pitch, but he's completely isolated. There was nobody there to accompany him, nobody to feed him good balls, nobody to, give and goes, triangles, nothing like that. So Mbappe, I found, was completely isolated. And number 13, of course, how could we forget aerial play and set pieces? I don't know we don't attack aerial balls. I just noticed that we could kind of, everybody jumps and they kind of you bump into someone, but we don't attack the ball. You remember Sergio Ramos used to attack the ball, and every time Sergio Ramos played, I thought he was going to crack his skull because he went in with everything. He was suicidal. He was like, I'm going to win this ball or I'd rather die. We don't have that now. Every aerial ball, we're so tentative. We lose them all. We have no prowess in the air at all, and it's just so frustrating. Okay, and this wasn't even a good Rayo side. By the way, I've seen Rayo Vallecano play much better in previous decades. This was not a very good Rayo. This was not a very good Rayo at all, and yet we put in one of the worst performances against them that I remember. But I'm going to repeat it. A team with this quality cannot play this poorly, okay? You can't. It's not acceptable. We have the best players in the world that cost a fucking fortune and that train every day. What the hell was that? It's completely unacceptable. Xavi needs to reverse this, and if he needs to buy a cane or a whip, do it. But what we saw yesterday, in my previous video I said, the players look like they're really putting in an effort. Not yesterday. I thought they were completely asleep. Okay, the refs, look. This is Spain. You know what it's like. So we're kind of, two clear penalties that I thought I don't understand because they weren't even shy about grabbing Kylian. They weren't even trying to hide it. These were bear hugs and tackles to the ground. But apparently, that's fine. But anyway, the ref situation here, as you know, has pissed me off for the last 20 years. I don't see it changing. Okay. In terms of players, this is the time where I would typically give you my thoughts on, every individual player. Well, I thought everybody was shit. Okay. The only thing I would say is that, maybe Courtois was good on a couple of occasions. I think, he always comes through for us. Jude and Arda, I think, tried their best to create and, had some beautiful kind of technical gestures, and you can tell that they're high-quality players, but that's it. That is it. Everything else was horrible. Camavinga's ball losses were nauseating and countless. I have no idea what happened. Camavinga's a player that I absolutely love, but he was so off yesterday. Mbappe completely disconnected. Bini running on the left like a chicken with his head cut off, but totally on his own. None of it having to do with collective play. Asensio had a couple of good defensive plays where I'll give him credit for his speed, but again, missed a glaring goal. Brahim non-existent. Look, I could go on, but this was just, I thought they were all absolutely awful. So things have to change. Xavi, I can tell you, if he doesn't turn this around, he won't be around next year. He'll definitely finish this year. I can guarantee you that. But if things do not turn around in terms of play, this would have been a one-year experiment, and he needs to get his shit together because what we saw yesterday was completely unacceptable. Okay, now, I also watched a bit of the Man City match yesterday against Liverpool. I'm very worried about what's coming. We have an international break now for 2 weeks, which I hate these breaks. They always come at a terrible time. But right around the corner we have Man City and some pretty important matches, and I'm a little bit worried about it because City are starting to play really good football once again, and they have an incredible lineup, and that's going to be a very difficult match in the Bernabeu. But anyway, a laundry list of mistakes and defects in terms of our play yesterday. So I think Xavi has his work cut out for him. Anyway, I'm frustrated as hell, and I'm sure you guys can tell, but I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. But as always, thanks for joining me. Love all you guys. And despite everything, as always and forever, a la Madrid.